Hello, everybody, and I believe we are live. Yes, thank you. Last week, the Zoom gnomes had it in for me, so my apologies to all of you. But if you tuned in, I'm so sorry. I look more like Max Headroom than myself. And if you don't understand that reference, you probably have my age. Anyway, it was the 80s, so look it up if you care to know. Anyway, 2 weeks ago, we talked about pricing strategies. The plain and simple truth is that if you don't meet your customers' expectations, they'll go to your competitors. You can only meet your customers' expectations and needs if you understand what they are. You need to ask, including the prices they expect to pay from you, for you, from you. That being said, we also must realize that quality is often more important than quantity. In pricing strategy, it's quality and pricing. Now, some of you will say you get what you pay for, and you would be correct on that note. You should be able to count on a quality product or service for any amount you might pay for them, but we all know that counting on it may not make it true. Sometimes you do pay dearly, and the quality is not up to snuff. You go back and you have the argument with whoever sold it to you, and maybe you win, maybe not, more often than not. But we can agree that price and quality should go hand in hand. But here's another thing that can affect pricing strategy for you. We're in a world that's become a throwaway society. As a consideration in pricing strategy, yes, you want to give your customers quality for the price, which we also call value, but you must now keep in mind more than ever before that some customers, some of your consumers, your vendors, your wholesalers, any consumer, whomever you're dealing with, some of those people are not concerned about quality. I know it sounds funny and counterintuitive, but it's true. Instead, they're fixated on price. In fact, they'll purchase an item, especially if the cost of that item is so small, only because of the price. And if the product breaks or if it stops working, they'll throw it away and buy another one. Here's where we can see how other strategies we'll discuss later on in our flight plan as we go forward will begin to come into play here. So the customer will purchase the same item, even if it's a low price point, not so hot quality. But the question is, will they continue to shop with the same vendor for that product? Your unique selling proposition, the thing that makes you different, may come into play here. And that's one of our strategies as we go further. If you sell a replaceable product with a short working life, quote, short working life, but your customer service level is through the roof, you may retain that price conscious client. You may keep them. They may just want to be dealing with you because your customer service is so good. So I want you to take a step back here. I just spoke for about 2 minutes or so, and I use the words maybe, might, could, and should several times in that short amount of time. That's a lot of work. When you use those words, it's a lot of work and a lot of explaining. Wouldn't it be easier to know your price strategy solidly so you can understand how much profit you're making, discount without losing money? Because you can do that. Issue compensation without taking money out of your own pocket on every single sale. Have that confidence. I know I didn't have it when I was in my own business. I wasn't sure sometimes what I could go down to or what I could, or even if I wanted to. Because if you know your pricing strategy, which includes knowing what you're selling, who you're selling to, what challenge or question the customer has that your product or service will solve for them, and what the market can tolerate, along with that customer, to know what the price range is you need to stay in, then you should be able to service your customer and have a dozen more, if not hundreds, waiting to complete their sales. Have the lines out the door. A good pricing strategy will help you earn the trust of your clients, plain and simple. They see the value and know you're committed to making their purchase journey pleasant. And if it just so happens that something doesn't go according to plan, because it doesn't always, you know how to handle it. What you can consider for compensation to that customer, maybe it's not money, maybe it's something else. And in the end, get a recommendation from a well satisfied customer. Even if the product has an issue or the service has an issue, you may be able to save that customer in the end. Listen, this is just the beginning and it's simple, straightforward. Value, price point, sale, feedback, correction, market it again, and repeat. I'm not suggesting that this is a set it and forget it. Not at all. Pricing strategy should be checked and rechecked. Maybe it's on a yearly basis, biannually, quarterly, monthly, however far along you are with that product or service in its lifetime. Every new product or service should be reviewed monthly for its first year of sales, and it should be pulled off your available products or services until the kinks are worked out and a better pricing and promotion strategy is in place. I know a lot of people say, just get it out there. Maybe there's something wrong, but true to the product or service, not true to the pricing strategy. Doing that with the pricing strategy can hurt you in the long run. If you start out too low, it's a problem. If you start out too high, it's a problem. You're going to lose people. So just make sure that, yes, you can pull it, rework it, but don't put it off. And then we're just going to tell you to take your time, relax, and consider all these things. Of course, you don't ever really have to stress over things like pricing. It's pretty clear cut. You know what you pay, you know what you have to work with. You need to know your overhead and you need to know your cost of goods sold and the difference between those two to formulate your prices. Oh yeah, and I think the most important one, I think, just personally, is what you want to keep in your pocket at the end of the day, your net profit. Very important. So that's our lesson for today. Many things to consider when working out your pricing strategy. Always put yourself in your customer's shoes, but be ready with an answer from a well prepared and educated owner. That's you. Remember that. Well, oh boy, I mentioned it, cost of goods sold. So next week, I'll go over those pesky financial statements and some of the terminology used so that you can understand what all the parts and terms mean so you know what you're talking about when you're talking to people about your financials. We will also connect on another profit acceleration strategy, so make sure you set a reminder to join us next Thursday at 1 p.m. And one more thing. Have you ever thought about doing some networking? Networking is like hiring an extended marketing team for your business, a true marketing team that you don't have to pay. You may make connections that'll keep you top of mind when you have your focus and it's clearly communicated to them. And there's many opportunities with networking. Send me a message in the chat here or email me at contact@cardinalprofit.com. I have opportunities for you to make some great connections that'll help put money in your pocket and give you great referral partners that can expand your products, services, and offerings. Oh, you know that saying, have I got some great referrals for you? I know I said one last thing, but here's my last thing. Don't forget to connect with me on LinkedIn. I am the one and thankfully only Jane Parmel on LinkedIn. Connect with me on me and Cardinal Profit on Facebook, Instagram, and my new favorite one, Alignable. And check out our new podcast, The Right Room, which launches next week. You can find that wherever you get your podcasts. I love saying that. Thanks for watching. See you next time and have a great and profitable week.